Among Thomas Jefferson's many achievements, one of the least focused on is the Northwest Ordinance. The ordinance was passed in 1787 by the Confederate Congress, but an earlier ordinance was proposed by Jefferson in 1784 and really served the basis of the Northwest Ordinance. It was designed to organize the territories that Britain had won in the French Indian War, otherwise called the 7 Years' War in Europe. And that was the states other than the 13 colonies that now are Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Illinois. And the ordinance, originally conceived by Jefferson, was revolutionary in that it made the point that these would be organized as states, originally as territories, but when they acquired 60,000 inhabitants each, they could apply for admission to the Union, and that then they would be admitted as states on a parity with the original 13 states, with 2 senators each and representation in the House based on population. This was a radical and terribly important concept. It meant that there would be no colonies in the United States. It meant that there wouldn't be a colonial empire in the West run by the former colonies in the East, that we would be one big democracy founded on democratic principles, with each state having equal power with the others based on its population and the fact that it's a state. Very important contribution. Otherwise, we would have had revolutions, we would have had wars going on, we would have had all kinds of things, instead of the orderly admission of these states. Secondly, it really set up the basis for American expansion. Obviously, when he wrote it, Jefferson had no idea that he would be the president that would admit the Louisiana territories into the U.S. as territories, but it was the Northwest Ordinance that set up the basis for the continental expansion of the United States. The third significant thing, which is very counterintuitive when we come to Thomas Jefferson, is it banned slavery. The Constitution makes no mention of the word slavery. It doesn't appear, and that was deliberate. And so we didn't either ratify it or rebuke it. But the Northwest Ordinance explicitly says that slavery or involuntary servitude, except for punishment for crime, will not exist in the Northwest Territory or any of the new states. That set up the North as an anti-slavery base, and it really armed the North for the Civil War in a real sense. And it constituted the clearest indication in Jefferson's public life of an animosity toward slavery. And it was based on the Northwest Ordinance that the concept of property ownership originated really in the United States on a fee simple absolute basis, meaning that you owned the property. That's as distinct from England, where for the most part you own property on 99-year leases of territory usually controlled by the Crown. And by setting up fee simple absolute ownership in the rest of the United States, it really set up a basis of property ownership in America, in the expanded territories at least. The final element that was absolutely incredible is that it specified that each time a state is admitted, it shall form a state university in that state to encourage education and literacy among the population. Ohio was the first state admitted to the Union from the territories covered by the Northwest Ordinance, admitted in 1803. And in 1804, Ohio State University was created, the first of the, I guess they're now the Big Ten, the first of these Northwest Ordinance schools that was created. This was incredibly far-seeing on the part of Jefferson. His idealism in the Declaration of Independence inspired America. He had nothing to do with drafting the Constitution, but the Northwest Ordinance laid out an orderly plan for the development of the United States. Thanks very much for watching.